Hello, Clinical Skills Mentors. This is Deepu Gowda, and I'm really excited about our first foray into the Clinical Skills Mentor program. Uh, really excited that you guys will be supporting our second year students on the oral case presentation. So I'm just going to spend a few minutes going over what this experience is going to look like for the students and also for you. First, a little bit of background in terms of what these second year students have already learned on oral case presentation. As you know, in January, in just a couple months, these students will be transitioning to the wards. So we have had some training around oral presentation already. They've had some lecture information on it. We've had an on-call case last semester where they practiced the oral presentation. And they're also being asked every single week to practice their oral presentations during their bedside sessions. So one student each week is being asked to present more formally and to get feedback from the rest of the group. This does not happen all the time. So I think that's an important recognition, is that some groups get busy, some groups forget about it, some groups just don't prioritize it. So all groups are not making time to do oral presentation. And we also know, based on our feedback over the years, that oral presentation is one of the real anxiety causing issues for students who are getting ready to transition to MCY. And these are some of the comments that we got from last year. One student said, "I do not feel prepared to perform an oral presentation. I thought there could have been a lot more opportunity for improving write-ups and oral presentation skills." And this varied a lot between different tutorials groups. Another student just said emphatically, more practice with oral presentations. So your help in the course at this stage is a huge step forward for us in helping to prepare the students for their oral presentation skills. So what we'd like your help on is what the students will be doing on weeks of 1023 and 1030. During those weeks, which are coming up in just next week and week after, during those 2 weeks, only 2 students will actually go to the bedside on any given week out of the group of 4. The students who are not at the bedside for that given week will be asked to choose a write-up that they've done this semester and to record an oral presentation into the assignments tab in Courseworks. So basically, one of their assignments, if they go to Courseworks, says oral presentation, and they can go to that tab, click on it, and there's a record and upload function where they can basically give a presentation into their camera on their computer and upload that presentation for review. And essentially, on the week of the 23rd, of those 4 students in their groups, students C and D will upload a presentation, and on the week of the 30th, students A and B in that group of 4 will upload a presentation. We're asking them to keep their presentations to 7 minutes. And this may be challenging for some of them, but we're going to be very clear about the criteria. And so hopefully this will be good preparation for them to selectively present information, and will be a little easier for you as you review the oral presentations in your mentor group. So in terms of your review, how will it work for you? You will be granted teaching status and will have access to the Courseworks website as a teacher. And Sarah has sent out invitations to all of the mentors, and I believe there are a few of you who still have not accepted the invitation. So if for some reason you didn't see that email or you deleted it accidentally, first look for that email and accept it if it's still there in your inbox. If you can't find that email, just reach out to Sarah and she will re-invite you to be to have the ability to view the students' assignments on Courseworks. Okay? The other thing to note is that the students will all have access to a rubric that tells them the qualities of a good oral presentation. And I want to go over that rubric for you too. And a rubric is basically a checklist. Students have access to that checklist. And we ask you to use that checklist as well to give them feedback. Okay, so here are the 3 areas of the checklist that can be of value as you look through each of these videos: content, form, and delivery. And we'll attach a copy of this checklist to this email to you as well, so you have it for reference. On content, for example, information is personally gathered, areas of uncertainty identified, information is accurate. Some of these, like those first two questions, might not be as useful when the student is uploading it for this course. However, things like the third point, which is opening sentence includes the pertinent details of the patient. The main problem is explored in appropriate detail, etc. Those can be very useful and worth commenting on. Form. Here, it has to do with how long the presentation is. Is the presentation, is the HPI presented chronologically? As you can see, point 2 and 3 on this form won't be as useful for this exercise, but the rest of them are. And then delivery. Here, all of these should be useful for this exercise. Are they articulating clearly, speaking at the appropriate rate and volume, maintaining eye contact, etc.? Can be very useful for feedback. So you're going to have a copy of this available for you for feedback. And we also want you to give some narrative comments as well. So Sarah is preparing a 1-page document that describes how to go into CourseWorks, how to find your students, because you're basically going to have a list of your students. And you will know how to get into CourseWorks. When you get into CourseWorks, you'll have access to all of the students in the class. But we ask that you only go into the files of the students that you are working with. And basically, over the course of those 2 weeks, slowly each of your students in your mentor group will upload their videos based on which week they have their bedside session and which week they're doing their oral presentations. So what you'll need to do is go on to CourseWorks with your list of students that you know is yours. And as the videos are uploaded, unfortunately we don't have a notification feature, so you'll just have to kind of check in using your list and kind of see who's uploaded it. And as your students upload the videos, what we'd ask you to do then is to go into their file, to watch their video with the checklist in hand. And after you watch the video, there will be an area of CourseWorks where you can add comments. So the faculty member, or in this case you, can add comments related to the student's performance in the oral presentation. So in that little dialog box is where you will type in your comments. And what I would say is identify on your checklist what you think they did well and what you think they could improve on. And just write a paragraph on what your main points are for feedback that you noticed when using your checklist. You don't actually have to, take your all checklist items and put it in there. It can just be the highlights. I hope that makes sense, and Sarah will have a document that kind of goes through the process as well. Just kind of estimating the time that this will take you. Let's say each video is 7 minutes, and let's say it takes double that time to watch the video and then make comments. So you'll get through about 4 students in an hour. So given that we have about 10 mentors and 150 students or so, each of you is going to have about 15 students. So it should take you between 4 and 5 hours, I think, to do this. And I hope that you'll be able to split up that work over the course of those 2 weeks when students will be uploading their videos. We also want to ask you to do one other thing, and that is please make note of videos that you think are particularly good, that you think are exemplary, that you felt like, man, this student is just nailing it in terms of the form, the content, the delivery. All of these things are just on point. Please make note of that and let me know. Also, please make note of students that you think are really having a very hard time. So hopefully that list is not going to be too long, but if you see a student that's having a very hard time, please let me know. And also let me know about students that you think are exemplary. And there are reasons for that. One is, with the students that are having a very hard time, I may reach out to them and offer them extra help. For the students whose videos are exemplary, I may reach out to them and say, hey, Janet, your video was really excellent. Your presentation skills were outstanding. Could we use your video in the future to serve as an example for other students? And can we get the write-up that this was based on? I think those could be really useful teaching tools if we're able to identify those really stellar presentations. So we definitely invite your feedback. Help us improve this process. What was it like for you to use the platform to give feedback? Was the experience useful for you? Please let me know on how I can improve this process for the students, the second years, and for you, because I want this to be a positive experience for both parties. And I apologize again for not having a meeting early this week. We're going to revisit that doodle and hopefully find another date that will work for the group. I also want to extend an open invitation. Any of the mentors, you guys are welcome to email me if you want to sit down one-on-one with me and talk about what a career as an educator in medicine looks like. I'd be so happy to brainstorm with you about projects that you are doing. If you want to get involved with the other educational scholarship programs that we have going on or things and content that we're developing, I would love your help. And I would love to help you in any way that you need related to these issues. So please do not hesitate to email me. I want you to get value out of this role of being a clinical skills mentor. So lastly, a real huge thank you for joining us on this new venture for the course. We hope that this is going to be a great experience for you. So please let us know how this goes, and really thanking you for your time and your energy and your expertise in serving the educational needs of the second year students. Thank you so much, and please be in touch if there's any other questions for us. Okay? Bye-bye.